it. Let's get right into things. So you already know what time it is, man. Today is the day. You know, it's been a long week. Heated rematch after Tiffany Hayes is okaying fans to attack Caitlin Clark. The league did nothing. The Golden State Valkyries did nothing. Everybody wants to sweep it under the rug, but knowing if it was the other way around, it'd be a big issue. But it is what it is. We're here. Let's take a look at what.
Make no mistake about it. What we are seeing right now is a coordinated effort to sweep absolute disrespect under the rug. That was the opening breakdown of a rematch that has the entire basketball world on edge. The Golden State Valkyries and their head coach, Natalie Nakase, are stepping into the arena tonight to face Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, and the tension is at an absolute boiling point. Let me tell you something. It has been a long, grueling week following a highly controversial incident where veteran guard Tiffany Hayes essentially greenlit fans to attack and swarm Caitlin Clark on social media and on the court. And what did the league office do? Absolutely nothing. What did the Valkyries organization do? Zero. They want to act like it never happened. But we know the truth. If the shoe was on the other foot, if a rookie or a pro Clark player did this to a veteran, it would be a national crisis. Instead, we have a head coach in Natalie Nakase trying to play mind games before tip-off, and it is not going to fly.
Had to say, man.
What do you like about having Tiff come off the bench? Because she's someone who starts on a lot of teams in this league. She comes in and just provides offense. Like, how much does that help you guys when you can bring her in against second units?
Yeah, it's just kind of like instant offense, you know, having another firepower. Obviously, she's really quick, but also she's super patient.
Yeah.
So Tiff can mix it up with, you know, scoring at all three levels. We saw her shoot the three, you know, in ISO situation. She was playing pick and roll. I don't know if you guys saw the last Connecticut game. She did a great job just facilitating, and she dropped that one pass to LA. I've never seen her do that. So it was nice to see.
Let's get real for a second. Natalie Nakase is out here doing entirely too much, trying to hype up players who are averaging a mere 5 points a game like they are world beaters. You want us to sit here and act like a routine pass is the greatest thing since sliced bread? Please, take a breath, calm down, and look at the actual numbers. But this is exactly what the establishment does when they are trying to distract you from the real threat. They want to talk about anyone and everyone else because they are terrified of acknowledging the generational force that is wearing number 22 for the Indiana Fever. But the media couldn't hide the main event for long. The press pinned the head coach down and forced her to address how she plans to defend the most lethal offensive weapon in the game today.
Clark, here it is.
A lot of times against Caitlin, the first game you guys picked up 94 feet. I'm just curious, what kind of things do you try to do when you pick 94 feet to give different?
Well, because she does a heavy load to pretty much of the offense. So again, you just want to put a lot of different bodies on her because she can shoot from like half court. Like, you just got to make sure we're aware. So just more awareness for us.
At the very least, Natalie Nakase had the decency to show some tactical respect, admitting that you have to pick Caitlin Clark up from a grueling 94 feet because the girl can legitimately pull up and bury a jumper from the half-court logo. She knows she has to throw multiple bodies, fresh defenders, and constant pressure at Clark because Caitlin carries the entire weight of the Indiana offense on her shoulders. But knowing the problem and solving it are two entirely different things in this league. And right after the coach spoke, Valkyries guard Veronica Burton stepped up to the microphone, trying to sound cool, calm, and collected about the game plan to slow down the rookie phenom.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, just being intentional about what we do, being intentional about where she likes her shots. Last year is last year. I think you can watch the film, but at the end of the day, like watching this year and her other games and where she's been successful, and just following our game plan.
Mark it down right now, Veronica Burton. It does not matter how intentional you think your game plan is. It does not matter what direction you try to force her. You can send Caitlin Clark left. You can send her right. You can crowd her up high or back off low. It will not matter. She is going to light that defense up and drop buckets non-stop all night long. But the real story isn't just about the regular game plan. It's about how brutal, physical, and downright ugly this matchup got the last time these two teams stepped onto the hardwood. The Valkyries got exposed for their tactics, and the media rightfully called them out on it, forcing Burton to answer for the excessive force. And what comes next is the moment that broke this whole thing wide open.
Natalie said the second half of the game against Indiana last week, they got really physical with you guys, and that sort of what changed the game. I'm curious, how do you try to bring that physicality from the start to the end?
Yeah, it's a tough balance because we also sent them to the free throw line a lot. So I think understanding where and when to be physical and then where to, you know, keep our hands off and not get a lot of fouls called on us, and just being really smart with that. And then not letting anyone physicality disrupt us. I think that's a big thing is just taking it and then not getting caught up with the refs, not getting caught up in other things. Like, if it's a physical game, it's a physical game. We take it, we find a way to be successful with that. If it's not, if they're calling it tight, then we need to.
Let's call it exactly what it was. Veronica Burton is out here talking about a tough balance and claiming they need to know when to keep their hands off. But the game film does not lie. The last time these teams met, all the Golden State Valkyries did for 4 straight quarters was hack, 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 and hack some more. It wasn't basketball, it was a physical assault disguised as defense. And make no mistake, the referees are going to have a razor-thin whistle tonight. Because of the toxic environment created by the Tiffany Hayes situation, the league office is terrified of a full-scale brawl breaking out on national television. The officials are going to blow the whistle early and often to maintain absolute control over this game. But Golden State isn't just worried about their perimeter fouls. They are terrified of getting utterly dominated on the glass, which is why their guards are being forced to play entirely out of position.
Together, let's listen.
Let's go to these small ball lineups. How do you balance rebounding as a guard while also trying to get out in transition?
Yeah, I think that's something that I've even been talking about. I think I can be a much better rebounder. Understanding that we do need to box out. We're going to be the smallest team majority of the time, even in our bigger lineups. And so boxing out, helping out our bigs. If it's any loose balls, any long rebounds, like that's on our guards and that's on me. And, you know, it's easier to get to transition when I do rebound the ball. And so being super intentional about that. And we always talk about it takes an extra effort. Like, I think it's easy to just watch.
The Valkyries are openly admitting that they are running out small ball lineups where they will be the smallest team on the floor the vast majority of the time. They are demanding that their guards cross the lane, box out, and fight for long rebounds just to survive. But you cannot give up size, commit endless fouls, and expect to stop a team that is finally getting a fair shake from the officiating crews. For months, we have watched the absolute double standard in this league, where establishment darlings like Aja Wilson, Paige Buckers, and Brianna Stewart get every single whistle if a defender even breathes on them. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark was getting battered and bruised with no help from the refs. But the tide is finally turning, and Natalie Nakase had to address the fact that the officials are finally calling the game by the rulebook. Because the real story isn't just what happened tonight. It's what this means for everything coming next.
I know what she had to say about the refs.
How much an adjustment has that been? How are you guys kind of working on that?
Yeah, because I think every game requires a different temperament too with the refs of how tight they're calling it, because they're human. They're human. So with that human being aspect, it's like everyone sees it different. So we stress today, like high hands. We're not going to put them in bonus. That is definitely one of our keys tomorrow. Like, we want them to earn their shots to shoot over us rather than they get 29 free shots at the line. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, you know, we helped the situation. So tomorrow we're just going to be really smart. We're going to be really disciplined. You're going to see us. I told them to go to sleep like this. I sleep like that.
Think about the absolute absurdity of what we just heard. Natalie Nakase is literally telling her professional players that they need to go to sleep with their hands held high in the air, just to build the muscle memory not to foul. She is terrified because she knows the truth. If you play straight up, disciplined, fundamental defense, Caitlin Clark is going to absolutely cook you on the perimeter. So the Valkyries are stuck with a brutal, season-defining choice. Do you commit blatant fouls and pray to the basketball gods that the referees miss the call? Or do you play clean and watch Caitlin Clark drop 40 points in your own building? Pick one, coach, because you cannot have both. The fear in their locker room is palpable, and it sets up one of the most highly anticipated, high-stakes battles we have seen all year.
All right, man, this is going to be a good part, and this is going to be a really, really good battle, man. Indiana Fever and the Valkyries. And you see what Natalie Nakase had to say. Natalie Nakase does have great respect for Caitlin Clark, so I guess we could appreciate that. She knows that you got to pick Caitlin Clark up early. Yes, she has a lot of responsibility, but the girl will pull up from the parking lot. She'll pull up from the parking lot, and she will take over your building. There's not a lot of players in this league that have the ability to take over another team's building with just jaw-dropping shots and passes and electrifying plays. And Caitlin Clark has the ability to turn a team's home game into a road game at the snap.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Natalie Nakase can talk about respect all she wants, but she knows the terrifying reality of what she is facing. Caitlin Clark will literally pull up from the parking lot, silence an entire arena, and completely take over a building. There are not 3 players in the history of this league who possess the rare, electrifying ability to turn an opponent's home court advantage into a hostile road environment at the absolute snap of a finger. And as for Tiffany Hayes, we see you. We see you hiding out after barking up the wrong tree. You went on social media begging for help and crying for sympathy after the backlash hit, and tonight, the receipt is coming due. You might want to stay quiet, lace up your sneakers, and prepare for the storm that is coming to Indiana.
This is going to be a big-time battle. We'll see what Tiffany Hayes is on. We'll see if she's still barking. Last time you barked up that tree, it fell on you, and I don't think you liked it. I don't think you liked it because you was on social media begging for help and begging for people to do stuff. Yeah. You might want to be quiet this game, Tiffany Hayes. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. This Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Now, let's take a look at this from a historical perspective, because this isn't the first time the WNBA establishment has tried to physically bully and mentally break a generational talent who threatened their comfort zone. We have to look back to the very beginning of this league. Back in 1997, the legendary Cynthia Cooper entered the league and completely revolutionized the game with her scoring and star power, and the old guard immediately closed ranks to try and diminish her greatness. Fast forward to 2008, when Candace Parker entered the league as a rookie phenom, winning the MVP and Rookie of the Year in the exact same season. The veterans in the league subjected her to unprecedented physicality, hard fouls, and media disrespect because they could not handle the shift in the power structure. The pattern is completely undeniable. Whenever a singular force arrives to elevate the sport and bring millions of new eyes and dollars to the table, the establishment chooses jealousy over progress. We saw it with Cooper. We saw it with Parker. And tonight, we are seeing it play out with Caitlin Clark.
Clark, here it is.
A lot of times against Caitlin, the first game you guys picked up 94 seed. I'm just curious, what kind of things do you try to do when you pick 94 seed to give different?
Well, because she does a heavy load to pretty much of the offense. So again, you just want to put a lot of different bodies on her because she can shoot from like half court. Like you just got to make sure we're aware. So just more awareness for us.
And the establishment's narrative is completely falling apart when you listen to the true icons of the sport who actually understand the game. Just last week on her podcast, legendary point guard Sue Bird explicitly stated that the level of defensive attention and full court pressure Clark faces is entirely unprecedented for a rookie in modern sports history. On top of that, Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo noted on ESPN that the defensive game plans being drawn up by coaches like Natalie Nakase prove that Clark is already commanding the respect of a 10-year veteran superstar. When multiple legends and objective analysts are openly calling out the defensive panic and the double standards, it completely validates everything the fans have been seeing with their own 2 eyes since day one. And here's the one thing nobody is talking about. The biggest consequence of all is still coming.
Natalie said the second half of the game against Indiana last week, they got really physical with you guys, and that's sort of what changed the game. I'm curious, how do you try to bring that physicality from the start to the end?
Yeah, it's a tough balance because we also sent them to the free throw line a lot. So I think understanding where and when to be physical and then where to, keep our hands off and not get a lot of fouls called on us and just being really smart with that. And then not letting anyone's physicality disrupt us. I think that's a big thing is just taking it and then not getting caught up with the refs, not getting caught up in other things. Like if it's a physical game, it's a physical game. We take it, we find a way to be successful with that. If it's not, they're calling it tight, then we need to.
Let's look at this entire situation from 4 distinct angles to understand the true gravity of what is happening tonight. First, you have the front office angle. When a team like the Valkyries relies entirely on hacking and overly physical tactics to slow down a superstar, it severely damages the entertainment value of the product, which directly hurts ticket sales and corporate sponsorships for a league trying to grow. Second, look at the locker room angle. The absolute silence from the Golden State coaching staff regarding Tiffany Hayes' classless actions creates an incredibly toxic culture that divides players and alienates future free agents who want no part of that drama. Third, consider the fan angle. Millions of people are tuning in exclusively to watch world-class basketball, not a continuous parade of free throws caused by undisciplined, frantic defenders who refuse to play fundamental defense. And fourth, look at the league compliance angle. The WNBA front office is under massive, unprecedented pressure from major television networks to protect their primary asset. If the referees do not strictly enforce the rules tonight and clean up the reckless contact, the long-term ratings hit will cost this league tens of millions of dollars. Now, what does this actually mean for the rest of the season going forward? There are 3 inevitable outcomes you can mark down right now. Number 1. Caitlin Clark is going to continue to adapt, improve her strength, and completely dissect these full-court traps until opposing coaches are forced to abandon them entirely. Number 2. The Indiana Fever front office is going to use this game film to demand strict uniform officiating from the league office for the remainder of the year. And number 3. The overwhelming fan backlash against players who use dirty tactics is going to force a massive reality check across every single locker room in this league. Many of you in the comments section have been calling out this exact double standard and predicting this defensive panic for weeks. And tonight, every single one of you got proven absolutely right. Natalie Nakase's bizarre admission that her players have to sleep with their hands up proves that the establishment is officially terrified of number 22. So I want to hear from you directly down in the comments. Is the Valkyries' highly physical game plan a legitimate basketball strategy? Or is it just a classless admission that they cannot stop Caitlin Clark without playing dirty? Drop your thoughts below, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and don't forget to like the video. This is Baskley, and we will see you on the very next breakdown.